What's up, ghosts and ghouls? I'm James May, but not that James May, LEGO designer turned sorcerer. And this is Tubeside, show where we take a sneak peek underneath the brick to see how LEGO sets are conjured. Ooh! Today we'll be looking at my biggest LEGO model and my spookiest, the LEGO Ideas Disney's Hocus Pocus Sanderson Sisters Cottage. Ooh! As usual with LEGO Ideas, the concept is that users can submit ideas to the website, and when they get to 10,000 votes, they get reviewed to be made into a real LEGO set. This idea was submitted by the Ambernator twice before it was accepted, so we're glad she submitted it the second time. Now, it pains me to say this because of the sake of narrative weaving for these videos, but I'm not really much of a Hocus Pocus fan.
Makes me sick!
I'd seen the movie maybe 10 years earlier at a Halloween party, but other than that, it wasn't in my sphere of knowledge or my annual spooky movie rotation. I'm more of an over the garden wall kind of guy. As an aside, someone please get that to 10k on Ideas, I would love that as a real LEGO set. I actually really liked Hocus Pocus 2 though, more so than the first, which might upset some fans. But anyway, this meant that I was tackling the model from the perspective of making a scary house, regardless of IP, that's intellectual property. This meant that to make the model authentic to the fans, I would need some help. This is where LEGO designer Anne and graphic designer Lauren would step in. These two are ultra fans of Hocus Pocus, so Anne was in charge of the interior of the model to get all the details, and Lauren's knowledge made sure that the stickers and the minifigs were super accurate. The challenge that was immediately obvious with this model was, much like a real building, how to make it structurally sound. In the movie, the cottage is one big room with a large open space, which is great for moving a camera around when shooting a movie, but it's really annoying when you have to make a toy of the same space. The other challenge is that the model is predominantly brown, so it's at risk of having a bad building experience if you have too many different bricks in the same colour, so I'd have to limit myself there. Also being my biggest ever LEGO model, the logistics of considering things in bag 1, which could have ramifications in bag 10 later, it's a lot to juggle. We started by watching the film a few times to nab a bunch of screenshots for reference, but it was difficult from the dimly lit scenes and some blurry production photos we found online. So there was a little bit of artistic license with the layout to get all the icons from the house visible. So the first opportunity I saw was that in Amber's submission, she had the water wheel able to turn on a crank handle, but I noticed that the water wheel is conveniently below the chimney for the house. This gave me the idea to link the two together to make a simple locomotion function that means you can spin the wheel and the smoke goes up and down. Cute stuff. I mean, spooky stuff. Ooh! Originally I was going to make the model an open back dollhouse design, like many other LEGO houses, but being a big boy 18+ model, it was decided to be fully enclosed. This presented a bunch of extra challenges with the structural stuff I mentioned before. We couldn't split the model in half like a modular building because of the function running through it, but we also couldn't split it down the middle because of the sloped roof design. So we opted for various points that can fold or come off to position the figures where you want them and get your hands in for play. To help with the structure, the sides of the roof were made old school, with the slopes and a ton of brown bricks. We had a cross beam going across one way on the top and the other way on the bottom to make it all super sturdy. This left a nice frame for us to put layers of plates on for the roof tiles, stealing the roof technique from one of the Winter Villa sets. Cheers, Chris! This made the roof detailed, not too heavy or brick intensive, and it can fold up to give access to the upper floor. For the bulk of the build, I limited myself to only using 1x6 bricks in tan and brown, 1x1 bricks in dark tan, and only used the bricks with textures for 1x2s. This allowed for a more confident building for the user, as there was no sneaky, slightly longer bricks, or bricks with studs on the side hidden amongst your brick piles, since if there was no modified features on the bricks, it'd be textured like bricks or palisade. Just as an aside, I'd never heard of the term palisade until becoming a LEGO designer, and everyone there was just saying it as if it was a normal word everyone knew, like, no, not everyone's a castle nerd. I ended up being really tight for space to put a staircase in, but I was determined not to just put a ladder in, so instead we compromised and there's now what is possibly the steepest staircase in a LEGO model. Big brag, I know. My mother is very proud. I also got 3 skeletons to the model, which is great considering I'm pretty sure that there's none in the film, but just to clarify, we didn't kill the bullies. We set this early in the movie, so they're museum props. Or are they? Ooh! What we didn't do is put the bones of children in the walls.
Legend has it that the bones of 100 children were buried within these walls.
Oh, great.
Not because it was too grim, but because the walls are only 1 brick thick, so they wouldn't fit. I added the gates to the front in a floating build based on the one in the movie. This was inspired by the one from the Monster Fighters mansion, which I think is a great way to give a sense of space and depth to the model, as it means the negative space between the gate and the model is part of the play space, and your imagination fills the rest. The graves on the tree were a great touch by Anne, and Lauren's skull head in grey is a hot colour change, which I hope gets reused a bunch. Being my biggest model, this was such a huge achievement for me. It was great having Anne to build all the cool interior details, like all the shelves and the fireplace and the tables and such, and Lauren's minifigures that are absolutely spot on to the characters. I'm glad I got to work on this model, but I'm also glad that my next model was only $80 and 500 bricks, rather than 2,000. This gave myself a bit of a rest. The feedback that we got from this model was pretty good. I'm so happy that the fans of the movie loved it, but I also saw that people liked it just a Lego haunted house, which I was really happy to see. So I hope that wasn't too scary an episode. If you have any questions about this model, let me know down in the comments, and hopefully I can answer them. Also comment down below with what Lego set for my brickography you want me to look at next. I'll leave a link to my brick set list in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe, if you dare, and ring the death bell which tolls for thee. Okay, see ya. Bye.